Water is an essential natural resource. We rely on it to hydrate our bodies, to clean our homes, and to keep our landscapes healthy. We use water to protect our livelihood and property if there's a fire. The quality and supply of our water attracts new businesses and stimulates growth in our city. But how does the water that we use daily make its way to Fairfield? It all starts at Lake Berryessa and Barker Slough. Fairfield is one of the few cities in California fortunate enough to have a dual water source, which results in a healthy and robust water system. With 2 water treatment facilities, 12 reservoirs, and 16 pump stations, the city of Fairfield serves over 100,000 customers daily. The size of our operating system allows us to provide uninterrupted and reliable water service to our residents and businesses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The efficiency of our methods allow us to keep costs low and pass the savings on to you. Did you know that 1 gallon of Fairfield potable water costs less than a half a cent? The North Bay Regional and Waterman treatment plants are valued in excess of $100 million. Cutting-edge technology, competent systems, and skilled employees all work together to supply water that continues to meet or exceed ever-increasing water quality standards and regulations. The North Bay Regional Water Treatment Plant, better known as NBR, is located on the border of Fairfield and Vacaville and provides water to both cities. By partnering with Vacaville, the city of Fairfield was able to save over $10 million in construction costs and continues to save over $500,000 each year in operations costs. The NBR is recognized as one of the top 30 water treatment facilities in the nation. The state of California has rigorous testing guidelines that exceed those set by the EPA.
Here in this laboratory, we test inorganic, organic, metals, and microbiological testing for the water. My daily routine is I have to calibrate instruments, specifically pH, fluoride, making sure our conductivity is within range with our ultra pure water that we use to make all of our standards here. And then we move on to wet chemistry, which is testing pH, fluoride, color, turbidity, all those physical analysis that we do for our water samples. Once a week I do test metals. I test for iron, copper, and manganese. The atomic absorption spectrometer measures our metals. So it uses a flame technique to heat up the solution to where the atoms split apart, and a light beam simultaneously sees those atoms at a specific wavelength and gives us a quantitative determination of what we're looking for. Anytime we get a distribution sample, any one of the analysts can set that up in the micro room.
In just 1 month, over 4,000 tests are conducted at NBR.
Part of what we do here is to check for the byproducts of the chlorination in the water, because we add chlorine to kill the microorganisms. That chlorine, unfortunately, when it reacts with the organic carbon we have, it's gonna create byproducts that can be detrimental to the health. And this instrument, the gas chromatograph, mass spectrometer, allows us to calculate, to differentiate first, to see what we have inside our matrix, the water, and make sure we know the quantity of it, because we have certain ranges within which by law we have to be. So we want to make sure that the water we are sending to the customers, by the time it leaves the plant and throughout the distribution system, that water is still good to drink.
Additional tests are outsourced to keep costs down. Frequent and thorough testing safeguards the quality and protects the integrity of our water supply. There are 38 dedicated water quality sampling stations throughout Fairfield, and water from each station is tested weekly.
I collect samples for bacteriological testing and physical water quality properties such as turbidity, which is a measure of clarity, pH, measure of how corrosive water is, odor, and color. On site, I do tests for chlorine residual and pH. We want to make sure that the water is safe for drinking, but also that it's palatable. After I collect all the samples, I go to our city laboratory and I drop off the samples for analysis.
As an added precaution, water samples from new construction and any broken pipes are also tested to make sure they have been properly disinfected and are safe prior to being placed in service. The Waterman plant is located in central Fairfield and is sourced directly from Lake Berryessa via Putis South Canal. Clarification, oxidation, filtration, and disinfection are just a few of the many processes that happen here before water reaches our customers.
I'm standing in the operator's control room at the Waterman treatment plant, and you can see behind me some computer screens. And part of my job is to make these computer screens that show the treatment process to the operator. They can see real-time values of the plant and make changes as necessary depending on the incoming water quality. One other part of my job is to maintain the online analyzers so we know that the water that leaves the plant is meeting the federal standards, and this is the last look we get to see of the water before it leaves into our customers.
The City of Fairfield encourages economic growth by working with prospective businesses to effectively meet their water needs. With an outstanding reputation for quality, the City of Fairfield's water has been a huge draw for national companies such as Anheuser-Busch, Calbee Foods, Frank Lynn Distillers, and many others. In wetter months, the NBR produces up to 15 million gallons of water a day. At the height of summer, water production more than doubles to over 32 million gallons as demand increases. That amount of water would fill the Washington Monument almost 4 times. When water leaves the treatment facilities, it is pumped to one of the 12 reservoirs in Fairfield. From there, water is distributed throughout the city through over 370 miles of pipe. Even during distribution, water quality remains the highest priority. In order for this to happen, the Public Works Department must adhere to a meticulous preventative maintenance schedule. Pipes must be flushed annually to scour fine sediment from the lines. Over 4,000 valves and hydrants must be tested quarterly to make sure they are in good working order in the event of an emergency. As an added benefit, hydrant testing also saves the city money by lowering insurance premiums.
I'm here at the corner of Gillespie Drive and Burbank Drive. When we check the fire hydrants, the first thing that we do is set up traffic control. The next thing that we'll do is we'll check the fire hydrant for any obstructions. The next thing was inspect the hydrant service valve for accessibility, isolate the hydrant service valve, and then move over to our fire hydrant and drain the hydrant through the 4.5-inch port. Next, we would inspect all the ports for damage. We'll turn on the hydrant service valve and we will flush the hydrant of any debris. Next, we will grease the parts of the fire hydrant and then reinstall the caps and move on to the next one.
Backflow crews utilize a cross-connection program to ensure that whatever flows through the meter does not get pulled back into the system or compromise our water supply.
I'm out here on Manuel Campos Parkway testing irrigation RP. We're testing for backflow. We're checking the check valves inside the RP to make sure that they are closing tight when they're supposed to, and making sure that no water is entering the system back from the irrigation lines. If water enters our system from the irrigation lines, it's considered a contaminant, which means we have to flush, isolate the main. The state gets involved. We have to take samples and send them up to NBR. Testing the backflow devices on an annual basis is important for the potable water system. It prevents contaminants, pollutants, anything like that getting into the water system and creating a hazard or getting people sick or ill. It's important to the city. We want to maintain a good potable water system and make sure everybody has safe drinking water. I think backflow is one of the most important things in our water system outside of treatment.
By following this precise schedule, the city is able to save money and protect both the character of our water and the viability of our system. Water gives life, enhances lives, and saves lives. The City of Fairfield prides itself in its ability to efficiently source, treat, and distribute this precious resource. The health and well-being of both our residents and businesses is the driving force behind our commitment to excellence. The City of Fairfield will continue to maintain its standards and provide safe, clean water and reliable, efficient service.